Right, welcome back from the break. This is World Cup Central right here on Channel 1 TV. I'm Gabi Ofe. My guests are seated. We'll start a conversation pretty soon. But before the first ball kicks in June, we go beyond the headlines and into the thinking that shapes the game. Time to meet the guests, and we'll get into that. Ghana football has actually lived through generations of talent, debate, and also some defining moments. First on the list today, I've got an iconic figure in Ghana football, a 1978 AFCON winner with the Black Stars, and also a legend of Accra Heart of Oak, known for his flair and brilliance on the ball. He's coached Heart of Oak before, and he played for that big club right here in the Ghana Premier League. To my extreme left, I've got Mohammed Polo. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you.
It's a pleasure.
Right. Now, next, one of the leading voices in football analysis, bringing a sharp understanding of the modern game, is Jerome Otchere. Jerome, It's good to see you again, clad in the Black Stars jersey. Super excited?
Yeah, of course. I mean, why not?
About the World Cup?
Yeah.
Great stuff. I'll come
Waiting to see what will happen. Yeah.
Well, Citi will be joining us from Canada, one of the host nations, to be hosting this year's World Cup. And also, I've got my wingman, Jude Duncan. He's going to do a lot of the talking, running us through what this World Cup means when it comes to the first time we're witnessing a 48 expanded tournament. So Jude is right there, also clad in his Black Stars jersey. You are rocking what? The newly launched jersey, right? What do you call the announcer?
Announcer jersey. You know, of all the depictions,
Yeah.
right? It was interesting to see that they chose announcer. I really felt they could have chosen something more iconic that represents our values.
But there was an
more,
explanation to that, though. I'm not sure it sat too well with a lot of Ghanaians, but we'll get into that later.
How can you tell
So that's
that
Jude
story?
Duncan. He would be my wingman. Let's start off the show. Let's look at the 48 teams who'll be heading to the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. Just in case you have zero idea, for the uninitiated, we'll display the image for you. We'll give you a sense of which teams qualify for the World Cup, which is kicking off on June 11. Of course, we know that the Black Stars of Ghana is in the United States of America, Mexico, and Canada as the three host nations. The defending champions, Argentina, is also there. Brazil, you can look at them, 5-time World Cup champions. Germany are also in there. Italy missing out. So the image is on your screen. There you have it. You can start off. We have Switzerland, Argentina, Colombia, there is Egypt, there is also Uzbekistan, there is Uruguay, Algeria, United States of America, one of the host nations, there is South Korea, there is also Paraguay, the Black Stars of Ghana, there is Jordan in there, Colombia, part of the 48 teams, Australia, South Africa, Morocco, there is Qatar, Brazil, 5-time World Cup champions, Australia on your screens for you, Portugal are also in there, Sweden, Scotland, Spain, Switzerland, Bosnia and Herzegovina. They had to kick out Italy from the World Cup playoffs to clinch one of that ticket from the European playoffs in there. So Bosnia would also be playing. Senegal, the Cote d'Ivoire are also in the Germany. Cote d'Ivoire and Germany are in the same group, so they'll be fancying their chances against the German Giants. There is also Norway coming up with Erling Haaland, Martin Odegaard, and the likes. Then Panama, also in the Belgium are part of the teams. DR Congo, one of the 10 teams, or the last team from Africa to have joined the 9 teams who qualified automatically to the 2026 World Cup. DR Congo had to go through all the playoffs, and then they managed to pick up that last lot for Africa. But before I come to my guest, we have an explainer for you. It's talking about the 48 expanded tournaments. You know, it's for the first time that we are going to have about 104 games in total. And it's also for the first time that FIFA is introducing this new format. Actually, it was coined somewhere around 2013 by former UEFA boss Michel Platini. And then Gianni Infantino had to carry on with that. So let's look at that explainer. When we come back, Jude Duncan is standing by to run us through what to expect.
Get ready for the greatest FIFA World Cup ever. 2026 is set to be the most exciting and inclusive FIFA World Cup of all time. 3 host countries, 16 host cities, 48 teams. Never before have so many nations competed for the ultimate prize in world football. For the initial group stage, teams will compete in 12 groups of 4 teams, with the top 2 in each group, plus the 8 best third-place teams progressing. For the first time, the round of 32 will be introduced, which is sure to dial up the knockout stage drama in 2026. 3 group stage and 5 knockout matches. 8 games will stand between one nation in football history. An unprecedented 104 matches across 3 countries sound complex, but FIFA has developed a schedule which places players and fans first. By geographically grouping the host cities, most teams and their supporters will make shorter journeys and should not have to travel coast to coast. A principle of 3 days between matches allows players to recover, whilst fans can attend games in multiple cities, leaving the FIFA World Cup fan experience to the full. History will be made on the 11th of June when the iconic Estadio Azteca in Mexico City kicks off the tournament, becoming the first stadium to host 3 FIFA World Cup opening matches. A day later, the eyes of the world shift north, as on the 12th of June, Canada hosts its first ever men's FIFA World Cup match in Toronto, and the USA gets the ball rolling in LA, with the first FIFA World Cup match on home soil since 1994. The 3 hosts will play all their group matches on home turf. Get ready for a FIFA World Cup like no other. We'll start with 48 teams, but by Tuesday, 14th of July, only 4 will remain. Dallas will be the backdrop to the first semifinal before Atlanta provides the stage for the second. On Sunday, 19th of July, 2026, the focus will be on New York, New Jersey, where one nation will turn their dream into reality as winners of FIFA World Cup 2026, the biggest sporting event in history.
All right, so that's that explainer for you regarding the 48-team tournament, which is starting later in June 11, 2026, all the way to July 19, 2026. Let's get to my wingman, Jude Duncan, who is going to give us some more explanation to the 48 expanded tournament. Jude.
Rightly so, Gabi. So it's an expanded tournament, the very first we are seeing. But it's important to highlight that in previous edition, we saw 2 nations host the World Cup. So viewers, your mind will go back to 2002, where Japan and South Korea held a joint World Cup competition. But for most part, it's just been one nation hosting. This time, the explanation we are getting is due to improved infrastructure, travel, logistics, and also creating an enhanced experience for fans across the globe. We are doing 3 nations, in North America, side by side, each nation. So I want to just run some of the host cities for this year's World Cup. And as you could see on my screen, right behind me, very lovely screen indeed. We have Vancouver in Canada, you have Seattle in the US, there's also San Francisco Bay, Los Angeles. If you come to Mexico, we have 3 cities that will be hosting this year's World Cup. That's the Guadalajara. And you know that they have a really thriving football team, right? Exactly. There's also Monterrey and there's Mexico City, the capital of Mexico. In the US, we also have Boston, there's New Jersey, Philadelphia, which I believe the Black Stars, the base of the team is set up over there. There's Atlanta, there's Kansas, Dallas, Houston, Miami. And if you go back to Canada, you have Toronto, which is also going to host some of the games. And a Black Stars game, I must say as well. So it promises to be very fun. Now, like Gabi said earlier, we also have an improved, or let me say an extended number of games. So for previous editions, we saw 32 teams come together to compete. And now we are having a lot more teams come together. Now what this means is that there's going to be more games from the previous 64 we witnessed in previous competitions. Now we have just about 104 games, including the opening and the final. Now what this also means is that there's some change in the structure. So initially it was 4 teams in a group, then 2 would proceed to the next stage of the competition, which is usually the round of 16. Now what we are witnessing is that right after the group stage, 8 best placed teams would also join in the next phase of the competition, which will now be known as the round of 32. Then from the round of 32, it breaks down. So yes, 48 teams now, 104 games. Then from the competition as it progresses, okay, so these are the groups.
So from the group stages to the next
group
stage.
stages. So it's important to note that now we have an expanded group, so it's from A all the way to L. And Ghana, as we all know,
the last group.
It's in the last group with almighty England. We'll see how that particular game also, I'm sure in subsequent editions of the show, we'll look at that. So 32 teams will now make the round of 32, which is the knockout stage of the competition. Then from there, we see the breakdown as it pans out. So from the round of 32, we'll have the round of 16 before we come to the quarterfinal, then the semi-final, and the final as is clearly spelled out there. So it's set really. Of course, there were issues around the participation of some nations. For those who follow a lot of foreign news and foreign policy, where there were concerns around whether Iran is going to be a part of this World Cup. It's still not certain as to their participation. So all of that is being monitored. But what we know and what we can report is that there are a lot more nations now, 48. 16, Europe has the highest number of competing nations. 16 of them coming from Europe. Then from Europe, we have Africa with the second highest, 10 nations. Now, the direct spots were 9. Now, what happened was that DR Congo, rather triumphantly, showed the way during the playoff, and they made it to the World Cup. Now, we have Asia also coming with 8 slots. Then there's also South America with 6. And there's North and Central America with also 6 slots. Then there's Oceania with 1. So it's all set, and it promises to be an exciting World Cup, and we are looking forward to it.
Great stuff. Thank you so much, Judan Khan. But before I come to my guest in Mohammed Polo and also Jerome Otchere, just snap thoughts on everybody who's going to witness this new tournament, the new format, 48 teams, especially with people who say that, okay, I mean, worst case scenario, at least you should try and clinch one of the third best place slots. Yeah, I mean, just your thoughts on that. I mean, and how that is helpful for the 48 teams.
There were some critics to this new system who said that it was going to create a logistic nightmare, right? So, for example, if you have fans from the global south coming in, we know economically some of these nations don't have the financial muscle to put together the resources to have fans experience the competition in a way like we've seen in previous times. So if you look at the travel cost, for example, now in the US, one of the biggest concerns economically is the price of gas as a result of the ongoing war. So all of that, creates doubts as to the fun experience. Mind you, there's an extended version like we've said. So I think that, of course, even here locally, there are concerns around whether government should fund supporters and all of that. So it is still a developing issue. I think for other countries as well, they are still trying to figure out their best approach to how this will be. But I think we are set for an exciting competition in terms of the football itself. For quite a number of the players we've seen in the last couple of years, it will be their final show, and I think they are really, really ready, and they want to make a mark for themselves and for their country. So we are set for an experience of a lifetime. All right. Let me say that.
Thank you so much, Judan Khan, for that breakdown. So explaining what goes into the 48 expanded tournament. I mean, with the tournament kicking off on June 11 in the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. So the Black Stars of Ghana are part of the 48 teams that will be making their way to these 3 host nations. I mentioned earlier that we'll be joining, I would have Sisu Graham, who is based in Canada, one of the host nations for this year's tournament, also sharing his thoughts. I mean, bringing us closer to Canada in terms of preparations and all of that. We'll come to Sisu a bit later, but let me come in studio and talk to my guest. I've got Jerome Otchere, a very vocal analyst when it comes to the Black Stars and other local issues, and also Mohamed Ahmed, also known as Mohammed Polo, 1978 AFCON winner. He's seen a lot when it comes to the Black Stars. Let me start off with you, Jerome. Just snap thoughts on, I want us to progress the conversation. And today is our very first episode of this show, so we'd want to build it around the Black Stars. I mean, on Monday, we had a new coach in Carlos Queiroz, Portuguese trainer, immense experience. Stinks with Iran 3 different World Cups. He did so with Portugal as well. He's a journeyman, I call him. Just your snap thoughts on the appointment and what it means for Ghana as a nation heading to the World Cup.
Thank you. And first of all, it's a privilege to sit with the legend himself, Mohammed Polo, on one set. A big privilege. When he was dazzling the world and Africa and Ghana, or Ghana, the Africa in the world, some of us were not born. So if today you have the chance to sit with him at one place, you give him the due respect and honor. You know, I am very careful on the Black Stars and whatever hopes they give Ghanaians. Careful in the sense that I do not want to sound bitter or, let's say, caustic in my analysis of a team that has consistently disappointed Ghanaians. Because if you are not careful, you would create the impression as if it's a very gloomy picture out there and nothing good can come out of them. So sometimes I issue this caveat so that people know the context within which I will present or I say whatever I say. I think that we, maybe at a later time, we will have to have a proper conversation on how Black Stars have been run.
Okay.
I am in no doubt that the current administration of the Football Association have toyed with the team. But this is not the time to discuss those things. This is the time to look at what can be done or what can come out of what appears to be a hopeless situation. The fact that we have a new coach signals a new beginning. And I am a bit concerned that even with the new coach, we are not too clear what he's coming to do. I've been asking, maybe you know, these days I don't get so much time to follow some of the things, but I've been asking, how long would he stay?
Yeah, so he was appointed just for the World Cup.
Just for the World Cup.
It looks like a performance-based contract.
But that in itself is a problem. Because you see, this is the short-term approach we have taken to handling the coaching issues of the Black Stars, which has led us to the mess we find ourselves now, such that a couple of months to the World Cup, we were scratching our heads to find out who can coach this team. That is what I mean by the poor handling of the team. Because you see, we've not taken a serious long-term approach to dealing with what should be a very straightforward matter of who coaches the Black Stars. How does he do it? What do we want to do? You know, but this is not the time to ask these questions. So let us look at the man who has been presented to us. I think that out of the confusion of not knowing who coaches us, maybe he fits the bill. Because then there must be somebody with the necessary clout that can handle a team that is persistently failing us. So I get it when people say he has experience, he's a big name coach, he has all it takes to handle this thing at the World Cup. So the context is just the World Cup. And I would like to see
how he performs there.
So that I don't go beyond what I think should be done in the long term.
Thank you, Gerald. Mohammed, let me come to you. Just snap thoughts on the expanded tournament itself. I mean, as a former player of the Black Stars, just what are your thoughts about FIFA's decision to do this for the first time, starting with the USA, Canada, and Mexico? And then later I'll come back to you and take your thoughts on the coach.
I think it's good, because if you look at the opportunities that has been given to Africa, I think it's a blessing one.
Some of the European coaches were not too much happy with.
Yes, they won't.
An example was Italy's coach in General Gattuso. I mean, he's now ex because he resigned. So
he won't be happy. You know, Africans have been marginalized for a very long time, and if you look at where some of us are coming from, and I'm happy for the younger ones who are coming now, because if you look at their performance, what they did to get there, it's not enough, but they are there.
In terms of what, the qualification series?
Yes, qualification. But they are there. If you look at even the teams that we played with, think about those days. Oh, these teams cannot stand us. But they have grown up, to play and compete with us. And we have to struggle to an extent that even AFCON AFCON,
Yeah.
we couldn't qualify. So we've already given up.
Okay.
But, for God to give us qualification of the World Cup, it's a great one.
Oh, okay. So I get your point. So you mean that the expanded tournament actually opened a way for some teams who would have struggled to qualify for the tournament? Okay. I'll come back to you and take your thoughts on Carlos Queiroz, who is now the new coach leading the Black Stars to the World Cup. But I've got Sisu Graham, who is joining us via Zoom all the way from one of the host nations that will be hosting this year's World Cup, Canada. Hi, Sisu Graham. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's good to see you and hear from you again. But quickly,
Yeah,
just now
good
thoughts.
to see you too.
Yes, now thoughts on what preparations is looking like. I mean, from where you are currently based, one of the host nations set to host this year's World Cup, Canada. What can you tell us about that?
You have to remember that football is not one of the more popular sports. It's a third or fourth option for a lot of people. So you have to remember we're in the middle of the hockey season. The hockey playoffs are about to start. If you're in certain cities where, your hockey team is doing well, it's something you're going to think about. At least in Toronto, where Ghana is going to play, their hockey team has been very bad this year. Historically bad, actually. So there's a bit more space for people to think about the World Cup. But like I said, you have to think about how every city is looking at it and what's happening in every city. So it's very different. So right now, a lot of things are going on. Hockey is going on. So I don't think World Cup fever has hit Canada yet, unfortunately, but I believe it will happen soon because I believe by the time, it reaches that point where it's like we're at the World Cup, I think all the host cities, their hockey teams will be out of the playoffs. So it shouldn't be a big deal. Vancouver, for example, their team is not making the playoffs, I believe. So that's a team that, because they won't make the playoffs, they will be interested in the World Cup. They don't have anything going for them. Toronto is the same thing. But right now, the hockey season is just about ending. So now people are going to maybe start turning their minds to the World Cup.
So just your thoughts about the expanded tournament. I mean, the decision from FIFA to let this happen, starting with USA, Canada, and Mexico. I mean, per the research, this was coined somewhere around 2013 by former UEFA boss Michel Platini. And then Gianni Infantino carried it on. Does this look like he's testing it to see how it goes? Because the subsequent ones will be the same. Portugal, Spain, Morocco in 2030.
The World Cup always has to expand. And I say this because there's a political aspect to it. If you remember, every FIFA nation has one vote. So the easiest way to get votes from some of the more marginalized nations is to say, we'll give you extra World Cup places. Because until 1970, there was no guaranteed place for African teams. This makes a big difference in how, if you promise African teams a bigger World Cup with more places, you are securing them as a voting bloc. So if you look at the history of the World Cup, the reason why African teams did not do well or participate a lot is until 1970, there was no guarantee there would be an African team. In 1958 and 62, for example, after going through African and Asian qualifying, two continents joined together. The winner would have to play a playoff against a UEFA team, the Intercontinental Playoff team against a UEFA team. So those things created problems. So when the World Cup is expanding, part of it is FIFA wants more money. But another thing is, if you promise, so now we've gone from one guaranteed place in 1970, constantly increasing to 9 places for African teams now. It's all because it's a political body. FIFA relies on its members to make decisions. So by saying you get more places, you are securing the African voting bloc, which is 55 nations. It makes a difference. So I do expect that we will see another expansion of the World Cup in maybe 20, 30 years, because for political reasons, you want to maybe offer 3 more places to Africa, 3 more places to Asia or something, and you want to get their votes in. So the expansion is going to keep happening. It's just the way it is, because everyone wants to be at the World Cup. It's an honor, but it's also important that everyone gets a chance, because, like Mr. Polo was saying earlier, they didn't get the same opportunities, because if they were in 1978, 1982, and those type of times trying to vie for one place with the rest of Africa. It's a lot different to having 9 places or even 5 places compared to World Cup 2022. So I expect the expansion to go on. And I don't think it's a bad thing, because I don't think as a World Cup, if you are going to say the African and Asian teams have to play a UEFA team to get there, that's not a World Cup. That's a European and South American Cup that they are playing, and they are trying to call it a World Cup to make it branded. So it's important that everyone gets their chance.
Interesting points. I just want to hear from you on, how this will go on to help the 10 African nations who are going to represent the continent. You've spoken about how it gives Africa an opportunity to go there and showcase. DR Congo was the last team to have joined the 9 countries who picked up those automatic slots. We've heard from Gennaro Gattuso, ex-Italy manager, complaining about why FIFA would go on to give those slots to the African countries. What are your expectations of the 10 when a tournament kickstarts on June 11? I know it's early days yet, but I'm sure you are very hopeful about some of the countries and how this tournament will go on to help them.
Well, that's the thing. Firstly, to address Gattuso's point, you had 16 places to qualify. If you can't beat Bosnia, you don't deserve to be at the World Cup. Who are Bosnia in world football? It's not like you have to go to Brazil or Spain. It's Bosnia. You couldn't beat Norway. So if you're not at the World Cup, it's thoroughly deserved. So please stay at home. It's fine. I think the African nations will be fine. I don't expect them to all finish last in their groups. That's the thing. African nations are not as bad as people want to make them out to be. I would say after the European and South American teams, the average African team is probably, the next level. I think the average African team would be the African Asian team for sure. So I'm expecting that if they get their chance, the ones who are a bit, and I'm just saying that's on talent alone. I'm not saying that they will win the match just because they're African. I'm saying on talent alone. I would say the African Asian team, the average African team at the World Cup and the average Asian team at the World Cup. The average African team is a bit better, but they have to be tactically smart. They have to be intelligent. They have to, they have to have their game face on. One of the Cameroon players who played at the 1990 World Cup where they were knocked out by England, he said that for him, African teams, our problem is the last 5 minutes. We win the game for the first 85, and in the last 5, we fall asleep. So he wasn't saying it literally. He was just talking about the fact that mentally and tactically, and the mentality is sometimes not there. So for me, he's right about that. That's one of the things we need to work on, because I believe talent-wise, we don't have a problem. We can compete with some of the lower tier European and South American teams for sure.
Okay.
But we just have to make sure that we are just as tactical and just as intelligent as them when it comes to the games.
All right, I like that point you raised. I'm sure subsequently we can get into the 10 coaches who'll be looking at, who'll be taking the 10 African countries to the World Cup. But just stay with me. I just want to come back in studio and take Mohammed Polo's thoughts about the new coach. Jerome has had his say on Carlos Queiroz. But Polo, talk to me. Queiroz is part of the 4 expatriates out of the 10 coaches who'll be leading the African teams to the World Cup. So what it means is that we have 6 local coaches. Senegal can say so, going with a local coach. Morocco, same. Tunisia, same. A few other countries. We have Carlos Queiroz. When you look at Ghana's history at the World Cup from 2006 to 2010, that's where we've seen success under these expatriates. 2006, we had Ratome Djukovic. 2010, we had Milovan Raivac. What are your thoughts about Queiroz? He's now the 2nd Portuguese to come down here and come take the national team job.
Yeah, I feel very sad, where we're going to. We've grown to a certain level, and we've cried for, the local, coaches being given the chance. And I don't know that, the structures put in place to do that. We started somewhere. If I remember, with Kwesi Appiah.
Yeah.
When he was attached to
the Black Stars?
The Black Stars.
Okay.
And he came to take up. And we saw what he could do. All of a sudden, I don't know what happened. We need to encourage,
the local coaches.
Local coaches.
Do you think it would have been right to look at Otto's technical setup? He had Desmond Offer, who was with Ghana's under 20 team, he saw some success at the U20 level and all of that. I mean, per my intel, the FA were looking at him, but people also say that he will probably be a puppet, quote unquote, to the FA in terms of kowtowing to the demands, kowtowing to the calls that will come from the higher figures in there.
Yeah, that was the problem. You know, sometimes you say certain things as if you are trying to demean somebody. But, you know, it's a structure. And we're talking about development.
Okay.
So we have to open it up to see those who can, you know, who can be supported. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from under 17, under 20, to the
Chan team.
Yes, Chan team. It's very, very important. So this is where we have to look at certain things, and we give those who are doing well in the local context. To be frank, I don't know where this under.
Carlos Queiroz?
No.
Who?
This under 20 coach came
This
from.
one affair?
Yes.
Yeah, he was with the under 20 team.
Yes, but where is he coming from?
Yeah.
Where is he coming from? Before he was given the under 20.
Okay. From what I know, I think he did his coaching badges in Belgium. He was in Belgium for some time. Then he came back here.
That's what I'm saying. We have coaches in the system who are working, trying to develop the local context. Why do you go and take somebody from Belgium and bring him here? And we don't encourage what we have here? And he was given the chance. What did he do? And you push him to that, highest level. With Didi Dramani at a point in time, that the chance was, I don't have any problem because he's still with the local content.
Yeah.
Look at those who are coming. I don't want to talk about myself. I don't care what happens. You see, life is what it takes. God has given everybody what he wants to do. You understand?
Yeah.
So these younger ones who have got the chance now, to me, I could see Zito was at a point in time working, and we could see what he was trying to do. He did something. And then this Kasim Okansemengo. Yeah. To me, these are up and coming ones that should be given the chance. At that level, you go and bring somebody at Belgium for what? But it was done fine. What did he do? He was still being pushed to at that level. What did we see with Otto? As for Otto, I don't want to talk about it. As for Otto, I don't want to talk about him because he's a player. He was given the chance. He played one match and qualified as the first one.
Yeah.
To
the last World Cup, 2022, against Nigeria.
And we saw what happened.
Yeah.
He came after, cheating or what.
Yeah, so Chris Hughton took us to the AFCON
in
Cote d'Ivoire, and then Otto came back.
For the
AFCON qualifiers.
No, I think there was some sort of, lobbying.
Yeah, so Otto came back, took us to the World Cup in 2022, and then the AFCON.
So we saw what happened. Yeah. So this guy was given the chance to continue. At least he has some idea. As a local, because he's played the World Cup, there's no problem with that. But when we saw what he was doing, we realized, no, this guy is not the type to help us.
Okay.
But the management they were vindicated at that point in time that they should let him continue. And he continued, luckily. It was even at the AFCON that we did not qualify, that this guy should be kicked out.
Sacked.
But they said no. The changes, and they made some excuses. They said, well, and they were vindicated because he was able to qualify us. Fine. Why at this, point in time?
Okay.
And at this point in time, we have nobody else. I mean, there is nothing we can do than to put our hands together and find out what is the next, either an European or local based player.
So you think that appointment was more like a rash decision.
It was.
Okay.
It was. To me, if they had seek, the opinions, because opinions are just like a, what do we call it?
Okay.
So, to me, it's a rushy, because what is going to happen will happen. If it's good, well, but if it's bad, but even how is he going to put this team together now? Somebody, an alien who doesn't know our football, and we have people who are in the system who are working. And if really people were looking for the
job?
No. Yes, the job.
Okay.
If how many of them went for it? About 6.
Yeah. Well, according to reports, we heard that 600 candidates were expressed interest in the job.
You can imagine. You can imagine the system, football system today.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to cash out. It's not what you give. So let's look at what we do. If you look at our content of players that we have, there is nothing that we're going to do there.
Okay. So Polo, just I want you to hold on for me. When we come back, we'll talk more about the Black Stars and get into our chances proper. I know you don't support the idea of bringing in Carlos Queiroz. I also come to Jerome.
No. That is where I was coming.
Okay, so I would just want you to hold on for me. We're taking our first break. When we come back, then we can progress the conversation. This is World Cup Central right here on Channel 1 TV. I'm Gabi Ofe here with Jerome Otchere and also Mohammed Ahmed. You can also call him Mohammed Polo. Earlier on, you saw Jude Duncan breaking down the 48 expanded tournament that would be happening on June 11, 2026, set to be hosted across 3 host nations, USA, Canada, and Mexico. It's always an interactive show, so you can send in your thoughts on what you think so far, what we've touched on so far. We're taking our very first break. When we come back, there's more conversation for you. Right, welcome back to World Cup Central right here on Channel 1 TV. I'm Gabi Ofe. This show airs every Friday, 3 to 4 p.m. up until when the World Cup is over. So you have somewhere about 15 to 16 episodes to look forward to every Friday right here on Channel 1 TV. If you missed the show, we'll have excerpts of it on YouTube for you, Citi Sports JHA, and also, to watch and share your thoughts with us. It's always an interactive show, so you can always send in your thoughts on what we will be discussing. Speaking of being interactive, I have a message here that says that, hello, good afternoon. My name is Kirkwood from Adenta. He says, my question is, can our new elected coach give us a good performance in the upcoming World Cup tournament? And my last question, the person is asking that Ronaldinho and then Mohammed Polo, who is more skillful? He wants Polo to answer that. You want to do that real quick?
Why not? Why not? I've seen.
So Ronaldinho, Mohammed Polo, who would you pick?
Yes, he has his style, and I have mine.
So you pick Ronaldinho.
So it's up to those who have seen me and those who have seen him to decide.
Interesting. Well, I mean, you can also join a conversation. We'll display the WhatsApp text lines on your screens, and then you can share with us what you think about what we are discussing so far. For the uninitiated, it's a show that runs every Friday right here on Channel 1 TV, and I'll be here with my guests every Friday to run you through, bring you closer to where the World Cup will be happening, the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. An interactive show as always. Guys, let's progress with the conversation. Let me come back to you, Jerome. Yeah. I mean, I think that everybody has accepted that we have a coach in Carlos Queiroz. The conversation also started with what he put out when the GFA announced. One of the lines that caught my attention was when he said that this is not just an ordinary job, it's another mission. What are you expecting from him? And looking at the way his football identity is, the current crop of players we have, where do you think we can get with him?
Well, I'm not going to go into any long conversation about what he can do and what he cannot do. The expectation of Ghanaians is to have him fix the team. And by fixing the team, we want to see a team that can play and win. A play that is able to play to the satisfaction of Ghanaians and get results. You can play beautifully and lose, and fans will clap for you. You can also play and win yet fans will not be happy. Which of the two would we go for? The World Cup is a knockout competition. If you want to win the cup, you definitely get knocked out, or somebody will knock you out. So I think that given the circumstance we find ourselves, he should just fix the team. Get the team to play to a pattern or to a system where the viewing public, the Ghanaian public, the world that will be watching the Black Stars in action will see a team representing Africa or representing Ghana in the best of lights. I mean, we didn't win the World Cup in 2010.
Yeah.
But everybody who watched Ghana at the 2010 World Cup was impressed. Impressed by how we fared. A lot of water has gone under the bridge to the point that that shine the Black Stars had been washed away. So Carlos should just look at how to get this team to play, to get Ghanaians supporting the team in a way that all of us will feel that even though we didn't expect to do so well, this coach has been able to manage us to a point where we can all say, under the circumstance, this is a satisfactory outcome. To be honest with you, I'm not expecting anything big. Because you see, we seem to forget what the real state of affairs of the team is.
Okay.
This is a team that has not played in the AFCON that did not play in the last AFCON.
In Morocco.
That's one. And this is a team that has, before then, played in 2 AFCONs without winning.
Yeah.
And since then, which other competition have we played? We haven't played any competition apart from the World Cup qualifiers, which to a large extent, we secured the qualification on merit. But in terms of who tested us, we didn't get a test that would make a Ghanaian stick his neck out there and say, I am confident that the Black Stars will come out good. So I'm just looking at the situation where our new coach will put the team in a shape that is able to play to satisfaction, that is able to, wrestle against opponents. Look, I'll be very happy if Ghana beats England. Yeah, it will be a World Cup headline if we are able to do it. But from my analysis of the team and all that I've seen of the Black Stars, we lack the capacity to do so. But you see, if you follow football enough, long enough, much as you would not go for Ghana beating England, something should also tell you that leave a small room for surprises. Okay. Because, I was very young when England played Cameroon in the 1990 World Cup. Yeah. I remember sitting in somebody's, my parents didn't even have a telly. I sat in somebody's big hall somewhere. To watch the game? Yeah, to watch the game. And I can tell you, I didn't know what was happening. All I knew was a black African country known as Cameroon was playing England.
And then reached the quarterfinals.
No, not even that point.
Okay, but beating England was like the major
first
milestone.
game. Yeah. The first game is what I'm talking about, the Argentine game, the game against Argentina. And everybody was talking about it. And that became more like the rallying point for the African contingent. So those of us back home were cheering Cameroon to the point of seeing Cameroon even taking a 2-0 advantage against England, only to surrender it, to lose 2-3. My point is that these teams are technically prepared, better than most of the African setup. So Carlos should look at the situation he's come to meet. How can he get this situation to the point where even those who appointed him will say, this was a difficult task for you, but you've executed it in a manner which means that we either extend the 4-month thing or we look elsewhere. Otherwise, you see, and that's the point I don't want us to get to. If I have the opportunity to advise the FA, I'm not sure I'm a good advisor, but then based on what I have seen, they have messed up the Black Stars coaching issue with this short-term thing. Okay. Look, that is not, and you see, this is what I want the Ghanaian public, the Ghanaian media, to let the FA understand. That the standard in terms of coaching this team has been messed. Look, let us not dilly-dally with the issue and make it look like they've done well by getting us a coach, because they messed it.
Okay.
They completely messed it. We have to fix the Black Stars and make it attractive as it was. You know, in the last 6 years, check the tournaments we have played.
Yeah.
I know competitions, and I'll tell you one. Then you would say it wasn't under their tenure. But when Ghana played Tunisia in
2019.
Egypt 2019,
Yeah.
the people bet that Ghana was going to lose. Ghanaians. Now contrast that situation with what happened in 2010, when the entire world was rooting for our colors.
Yeah.
You know, so that dissipation of trust in the team must be restored. And it's not just about a coach winning on the field. It's about the administrators of the game giving the Ghanaian public the confidence that they are doing a good job. And that's what is lacking. So let's hope for the best. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but once we are at the World Cup, that's big credit to the FA and all the people who contributed. But what do we do to also make it take advantage of the big stage we have been given? The last competition was not anything to, cheer about.
Yeah.
I mean,
you mean the last World Cup?
Yeah. I mean, what did we do? You know. So let's go in there, thinking that we don't really have, we are not coming from a good situation, but we want to make the best out of what we have. And the Ghanaian spirit, if we would go out there with a diligent attitude, it is possible we can cause a surprise. I have no expectation. I'm not going to sit here and say, and it is maybe one thing I should add to our sports minister, to the FA and all the people talking. Look, today's football fan, even in the days of, excuse me to say, the legendary Mohammed Polo's days, were so initiated.
Okay.
They were enlightened. Today they are more enlightened.
Yeah, very
So
discerning.
when you are given the platform, you say you win the World Cup. I'm sorry, you are looking like a mockery. Like the people
Is
watching.
that the minister just being hopeful? Because I mean that was his last words. So he said, "Let's be hopeful."
See, it's important you are hopeful. I mean, hope. You don't lose hope. It's only, excuse me to say, the cemetery that you don't find any hope. But even then, Jesus rose from the dead, and you can believe that he's coming again. So that hope is there. But we are talking football.
Yeah.
So let's restrict ourselves to that. I'm saying that even our communication around the team's chances and expectations and preparation should be something that the fan watching you will know, excuse me to say, you are not silly.
Okay.
Because you are looking for a coach in the last 3, 4, 5 days. Somebody has been preparing his team over 2 years.
And you're hoping that
you are not going to beat that team.
Oh, I get a point you're making.
You are not going to beat that team. And this is something that we often do. The last sports minister did it. He was predicting Ghana was winning the AFCON, and we couldn't win one game. Just one game. You couldn't win. This is something that, I mean, they should cut it. Because we have fans who are watching us all the time, who knows what is happening. I mean, who know what is happening. And they can always tell when things are going right, when things are not going right. They can tell. All you need to do is to stay in touch with whatever is happening within your team and let people know that things are getting well, you know. But when you come out making it feel like we have the capacity to beat the French national team, the Argentines and the rest, they'll humiliate you. Even South Korea, look at how we labored to beat them, I mean, to win that game.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those who say that, oh, if there had been 10 more minutes, we'd have lost. No, it was 90 minutes. We beat them within 90 minutes, you know. So I want us to look at our situation and make the best out of it. The World Cup platform is not NDC, MPP political campaign platform where you come and say things and people will even forget about what you said because they know you won't fulfill it. The World Cup platform is a serious platform where everybody knows what is happening.
Yeah.
Those people who are interested in betting and things like that, they know what they will go for.
Yeah.
Because they are seeing what is happening.
Exactly.
You know, so I like the fact that even if things were not going right in terms of our coaching, something has been done. We are not, I am not so hopeful. But then I would also always want to give the benefit of the doubt. So that you are human. There are human beings working. You always have to give them that room of things, changing. You know, otherwise You write them off completely, they come and surprise you, and you'll be shamed.
Interesting thoughts by John. Polo, let me come to you. Just now thoughts. We have limited time. We'll have to check out of studio. Just talk to me about your own expectations for Carlos Queiroz. I know you're not too much enthused about the appointment, but I just want us to look at what you think he can do with the team. Just quick thoughts on.
Yeah, if I look at what the pedigree that was the reason why he was
given the job.
Yeah. Because he's qualified.
He did it with South Africa in 2002. Yeah, he's done it with Portugal.
Portugal.
Yeah, he has Iran. Yeah. 3 different stints with Iran.
Yeah. That is okay. That is okay. But the timing is the problem. And as Jerome was just saying that, when Cameroon, played Argentina, and then
in 1990.
Yes, at that time, he was very young. I was, I remember, some saying of Roger Miller. Roger Miller, everybody was, hooted for, all Africans were behind Cameroon. It's normal because Cameroon was then on top, just like South Africa, when Ghana was on top of. Yes, on 2010. Cameroon at that time, Roger Miller told the world that no, they haven't seen anything. If Ghana at that time they don't know, they've never seen Ghana in the world. He said Ghana, when Ghana comes to the World Cup, they will see football. What has Roger Miller seen? Is it not our time?
Yeah.
Is that what is happening today? You understand?
Yeah.
You see, I don't blame this, FA at all. He's trying to do his best. We've messed things up, from
the beginning.
From the beginning,
okay.
A long time. We were depending on, what we were doing, the quality of players. That is what we were depending on. Not knowing that we have to, develop. We have to create. And you don't create this guy. Is it the white man who will always teach you what to do? He has colonized you. Yeah. So he's still colonizing you?
Can we get out to the group stage?
Please. If there is nothing impossible.
Okay.
In life. There is nothing impossible. But what we're talking about that, you must give the people the hope to get there. And when you sit down and you want to enjoy the game, and your people, your team, we have players on the field, but we don't have a team.
Okay.
And that is a problem. How is this guy going to fix a team within this short time? And that is the magic. So the pedigree that they took and pick him as a guy, I don't have any problem. They did very, very. To be frank, they look at certain points. If you look at it, he has qualified, he has got the experience.
Yeah.
But how is he going to put the Ghanaian team together and play at the World Cup for us to be satisfied? Okay. And that is all we're looking for.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it should be something, yes.
We can
to me, it's a short term. Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
He should come and take his money and go. If he's able to take us to some level, fine. You understand? But we don't have that hope.
Okay.
You understand? But we have to plan.
Okay.
Because Ghana is an elite country in football, in African football. And we are there now. We nearly went to semi-finals.
Yeah.
And then Morocco came. Look at what is happening today. So it's very, very important. Let us put the strategies there. And they are doing it. But some people are messing up. Like the offense and they come and take on the wasting up. We are there and then offense are coming to take under 20 and mess it up. Okay. When we are developing under 20s,
we would have to go.
The 12 years and no, let's be facts.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for me to do. Some of us up till now, I'm struggling to develop kids. I've been to Doma, I've been to Asim Fosu, I've been to Asamenkasa, there are quality players in the system. What are we doing? Wasting them? If I look at the social media, I could see the technical directories putting the players together and look at what they are doing. To be frank, we are wasting our time.
Yeah, Polo, would have to go. I'm sure we would have to bring you back for subsequent episodes so that you can go hard on the Black Stars. But I appreciate your thoughts so much. Jerome Otchere, thank you so much for doing this with me. And then Mohammed Ahmed, the dribbling magician, Mohammed Polo.
I still have what it takes.
Yeah, I know.
To give it out.
You have a lot.
A lot.
You have a lot.
Why do you waste it?
You have a lot.
You want us to go to the grave and go and pick it up?
No. Don't do that.
We have to give it now. You don't allow us to go and...
Yeah. Polo, thank you so much for your time. And then Susu Graham, who joined us earlier from Canada, brought us a fair idea of what's going on in Canada as the preparations towards the 2026 World Cup. Early on, you saw Jude Duncan also hopping on sets to give us a breakdown and explainer into the 48 expanded tournament that was initiated by FIFA. This is the World Cup Central, right here on Channel 1 TV. We thank you all also out there who sent in your thoughts, the production team, the guys behind the camera making this a successful one. The show would be on YouTube Citi Sports JHA, so you can go there and go watch it. I'm Gabi Ofe. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.